What's up everyone? As you guys probably know, we're not getting any new Everdark bosses for a fair bit of time. So while we wait for FromSoft to cook up nightmare fuel on a bun like whatever Everdark Libra's gonna turn out to be, I thought it'd be a fun time to ask the ultimate question. Can Guardian go from the tank class to the one man, or I guess in this case the one birdman army, and become part tank, part DPS, and part support? Let's find out. For our first relic, we've got the Witch's Brooch. You're able to get this after progressing far enough into the Guardian's Remembrance questline, but this thing's gonna be loaded for the support and tanking side of our build here. This is gonna give us +3 to Vigor, which just means we get 60 additional HP. Then for our ultimate, if we hold on to it after casting it, we can heal ourselves up and the entire team as long as they're close enough to us. So they'll get constant healing and damage reduction alongside us, which is incredibly powerful for helping reset your team's health bars and just resetting your own if you need to. It also revives teammates no matter how much knockdown progress they're at, even if they're at 3 bars, and once the teammate does get picked up, you continue to heal them back up to full HP. Our final passive here is incredibly handy for defense, since when we use our super guard passive, which you can do by guarding and then dodging, will spawn a light explosion around us that damages enemies, and then once it damages those enemies, it can also build up a bit of stagger on them, which is absolutely insane. Also, when an enemy boss decides to deliver one of those famous 8,000 hit combos onto you, if you're near a teammate, the reflect shockwaves can actually do a pretty decent job at reviving your teammates if they're knocked near you, which can double as defending yourself and reviving your teammate at the same time. So far, this first relic is giving us a solid defense and support passive setup, but we're still lacking in damage options, and that means Libra and Fulgor are laughing all the way to the Elden Bank at our expense right now. So we've got to find a way to even the playing field. This is where the next 2 relics come into play to give you a lot more damage options and versatility. Starting with the first relic here, the only passive that matters is the passive that says Wraith Calling Bell in possession at start of Expedition. You can get this relic by complete chance from Expeditions or by rolling it from a merchant. And I know what you guys are thinking, what does the Wraith Calling Bell have to do with the Guardian? But y'all, hold on, let me cook, trust. First, the damage it deals is really consistent range damage, and why that's useful is because since you're a tank, you can only hold the enemy's attention for so long before they get bored of you. And once they do get bored of you, they're gonna go straight to your backline, meaning if you had a Recluse, a Revenant, or even an Iron Eye, they're just gonna go clothesline and suplex them and just make them suffer as much as possible. But that's where the bell comes into play. The boss is gonna keep getting pelted and pelted and pelted by this super low FP cost spell, and eventually he's gonna be like, how many times do we need to teach you this lesson, bird? And he's gonna turn around and come all the way back at you, and when you see the boss is just lunging towards you, just take the time to rebuild your stamina up, and this means you can go right back to being the tank for your team, and if you have any ranged or mage based teammates, you're just helping them get the distance they need to keep casting their spells and doing their attacks from a distance safely. So it's basically gonna serve as like a bootleg draws enemy attention while guarding relic, but this one is just gonna make it to where you spend mana to deal damage to enemies until they decide to retarget onto you. Also, as a quick side note, the bell's damage is gonna increase by increasing magic damage, which is something you can do by finding weapon passives that increase your magic damage or dormant powers that increase your magic damage. So keep an eye out for those if you want to increase your bell's damage and you don't have any more important passives to use. But I know what some of you guys are thinking right now. You'll just run out of mana eventually by spamming that bell, and once you do, you're cooked. That's it. But that's where our final relic comes into play here. For our final relic here, we've got the Dark Knight of the Wise, which you get from defeating the Everdark Sentient Pest and buying from the Collector's Signboard shop. And this is where we really make it all come together, to not just use the bell more, but also get more damage from weapons that we're using throughout the expedition, especially the stronger and higher rarity ones. This relic is going to give us outright +25 to our max mana, And this is just gonna help us use weapon skills and use the bell more often. FP restoration upon successive attacks, which means it's gonna work fantastically with our build since we'll be up close and personal, constantly just doing melee attacks to enemies. And it gives us the opportunity with the final passive to get even more mana if we unlock a Sorcerer's Rise, which is something you can do on your own time, or it's something that's likely to happen if you're playing with a bunch of mages on your team. Now with the mana restoration passive on successive hits, we can do something diabolically powerful with certain weapon skills. For example, we can infinitely use the weapon skill for the Regalia of Eokade, the Executioner's Sword, and the Prelate's Hammer. And possibly even more weapon skills that I haven't tested yet, which if you do see some more, let me know in the comment section down below. But you can basically do these until you run out of stamina, which is incredibly powerful. As long as you get the hit, your mana will come right back. And even if you find a weapon where the weapon skill doesn't give you mana back, it's okay. All you have to do is go in for a melee attack, keep attacking until you see your FP bar come back, and then you can use it to either use another weapon skill or use the bell or whatever you think you need to use your FP bar for. And after an enemy or a boss takes so many weapon skills and damage from you and your teammates combined, it's really only a matter of time before any battle is just over from the amount of damage you all dish out together. Finally, the weapons you need to keep an eye out for are basically just going to be weapons that have a quality scaling. And what a quality scaling weapon is going to be is a weapon that splits between strength and dex as a stat requirement. So you're going to be looking for the same weapons the Wilder is looking for basically. But you can also venture in the purely strength weapons, though you aren't going to be getting the same damage as a Raider per se, because he has an S scaling in strength. You'll still be able to get some decent damage out of the weapon, so if you can't find anything else, it's not a bad pick either. But that's pretty much the whole setup for the build. We basically just tank and reflect damage while also using the ultimate to revive and heal up our teammate. We use the Wraith Calling Bell to constantly poke at and harass the bosses whenever they get too far away from us, or if we just want to do range damage in general. And we use our FP to constantly just do big bursts of damage as much as possible with our weapon skills towards enemies to just chunk them and burst them down as fast as possible. Also, I hope you guys enjoyed the build setup. It was mostly just made for fun. You know, we're in the absolute Elden Ring Dark Ages right now. We're not going to be getting any content for about a month, so I'm just out here experimenting. But with that being said and done, let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see me try any other games, if you want to see me try a challenge run, or if you just want me to try anything at all. Just let me know down below. And if you guys enjoyed, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated. I hope you all have a great and amazing day, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.